Throughout American history, the decisions made by its presidents have often shaped the nation's destiny, sometimes for the better and other times with perilous consequences. While many leaders have guided the country through crises, there are a select few whose choices have brought America to the brink of disaster. From military interventions that spiraled out of control to domestic policies that incited division and unrest, these 6 presidents faced monumental challenges that tested the very foundations of the republic. Their decisions had immediate repercussions and left a lasting impact on the nation's trajectory, raising questions about leadership, accountability, and the complexities of governance. This exploration delves into the pivotal moments of these presidents' tenures, highlighting the dangerous paths they navigated and the near-catastrophic outcomes that could have changed the course of American history forever. 6. Barack Obama. Military intervention in Libya. Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States, made a pivotal decision to intervene militarily in Libya in 2011. This intervention aimed to protect civilians during the Libyan civil war, but ultimately led to significant unintended consequences that would challenge U.S. foreign policy. In early 2011, widespread protests erupted against Muammar Gaddafi's regime as part of the Arab Spring. As violence escalated, the international community expressed concern for the safety of Libyan civilians. Obama decided to take action, authorizing airstrikes and supporting rebel forces to prevent Gaddafi from committing atrocities against his own people. The military intervention was swift and effective in toppling Gaddafi, but the aftermath was chaotic. Libya descended into civil war, with multiple factions vying for power. The power vacuum created by Gaddafi's removal led to ongoing violence, instability, and the rise of extremist groups, including ISIS. The lack of a clear post-intervention strategy raised questions about the U.S. role in foreign conflicts and the responsibilities of nations to ensure stability after regime change. Obama's decision to intervene in Libya illustrates the complexities and dangers of military action in politically volatile regions. While the immediate goal of protecting civilians was achieved, the long-term consequences of the intervention have led to ongoing instability and conflict in Libya. This decision serves as a critical case study of the challenges of humanitarian intervention and the need for comprehensive planning in foreign policy. 5. George W. Bush. Invasion of Iraq. George W. Bush, the 43rd President of the United States, made the fateful decision to invade Iraq in 2003 based on claims that Saddam Hussein possessed weapons of mass destruction, WMDs, and posed a threat to national security. This decision would have profound consequences both for Iraq and for U.S. foreign policy. In the wake of the September 11th attacks in 2001, the Bush administration shifted its focus to Iraq, arguing that Saddam Hussein's regime was linked to terrorism and was developing WMDs. Despite widespread international skepticism and a lack of concrete evidence, Bush sought congressional approval for military action. On March 20, 2003, U.S. forces launched a military invasion of Iraq, quickly toppling Hussein's government. However, the promised WMDs were never found, leading to questions about the legitimacy of the invasion and the intelligence used to justify it. The aftermath of the invasion plunged Iraq into chaos, resulting in a protracted conflict that saw sectarian violence, the rise of extremist groups like ISIS, and a humanitarian crisis. Over 4,400 American soldiers lost their lives, and countless Iraqi civilians were killed or displaced. Bush's decision to invade Iraq serves as a stark reminder of the complexities and dangers of military intervention. The long-term consequences of the invasion continue to affect Iraq and the broader Middle East, as well as U.S. foreign policy. This decision has sparked ongoing debates about the responsibilities of leaders in making military choices and the importance of accurate intelligence in matters of national security. 4. Richard Nixon. Bombing of Cambodia. Richard Nixon, the 37th President of the United States, made a controversial decision to expand the Vietnam War into Cambodia. This choice not only escalated the conflict, but also had disastrous consequences for Cambodia and the broader region. In 1969, Nixon authorized secret bombing campaigns in Cambodia, aiming to target North Vietnamese troops and supply routes that were using Cambodian territory. This decision was driven by the belief that eliminating enemy sanctuaries would help secure a swift end to the war in Vietnam. The bombings intensified in 1970, leading to significant civilian casualties and widespread destruction in Cambodia. The covert nature of the operation meant that Congress and the American public were largely unaware of the extent of the military actions. The destabilization caused by the bombings contributed to the rise of the Khmer Rouge, a radical communist group that would ultimately seize power in 1975 and perpetrate a genocide that claimed the lives of an estimated 1.7 million people. Nixon's decision to bomb Cambodia exemplifies the dangers of military intervention without clear objectives or public transparency. The repercussions of this choice were felt not only in Vietnam but also in Cambodia, leading to human tragedy and regional instability. Nixon's legacy is marred by this decision, highlighting the profound consequences that can arise from military strategies that disregard the complexities of local politics and human rights. 3. Lyndon B Johnson. Escalation of the Vietnam War. Lyndon B Johnson, the 36th President of the United States, made a fateful decision to escalate American involvement in the Vietnam War. What began as a limited commitment became a full-scale military engagement that would have profound implications for the United States and its citizens. Following the Gulf of Tonkin incident in August 1964, Johnson faced mounting pressure to respond to perceived aggression from North Vietnam. Misleading reports of attacks on U.S. ships led Congress to pass the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, granting Johnson broad authority to use military force in Vietnam. Johnson's decision to escalate the war involved increasing troop deployments and bombing campaigns. By 1968, over 500,000 U.S. troops were stationed in Vietnam. The conflict quickly turned into a quagmire, with American forces facing fierce resistance from both the North Vietnamese Army and the Viet Cong. As casualties mounted, public opposition to the war grew. Johnson's leadership was increasingly questioned, and the war became a focal point of social unrest in the United States, leading to widespread protests and a decline in trust in government. Johnson's escalation of the Vietnam War is a cautionary tale of the dangers of military overreach and the complexities of foreign intervention. The war not only resulted in significant loss of life, but also led to long-lasting societal and political repercussions in America. Johnson's legacy remains intertwined with the Vietnam conflict, serving as a reminder of the heavy burdens borne by leaders facing difficult decisions in times of crisis. 2. John F. Kennedy, the Cuban Missile Crisis. John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, faced one of the most perilous moments of the Cold War during the Cuban Missile Crisis in October 1962. This 13-day confrontation with the Soviet Union over the presence of nuclear missiles in Cuba brought the world to the brink of nuclear war, testing Kennedy's leadership and decision-making under extreme pressure. In early October 1962, U.S. reconnaissance flights revealed Soviet ballistic missiles being installed in Cuba. This discovery posed a direct threat to U.S. national security, as the missiles could reach major American cities in minutes. Faced with this imminent danger, Kennedy convened a group of advisors, known as the Executive Committee of the National Security Council, EXCOM, to discuss possible responses. After much deliberation, Kennedy opted for a naval blockade, termed a quarantine, to prevent further Soviet shipments of military equipment to Cuba. He demanded the removal of the missiles and prepared for the possibility of military action. The situation escalated as both superpowers engaged in intense negotiations, with the world watching anxiously. Ultimately, a resolution was reached when the Soviet Union agreed to dismantle the missiles in exchange for a U.S. pledge not to invade Cuba and a secret agreement to remove U.S. missiles from Turkey. Kennedy's handling of the Cuban Missile Crisis is often regarded as a defining moment in his presidency. His decision to choose diplomacy over military action prevented a catastrophic conflict, demonstrating the importance of measured responses in international relations. The crisis left a lasting legacy on U.S.-Soviet relations and highlighted the dangers of nuclear proliferation, shaping Cold War dynamics for years to come. 1. Harry S. Truman, the use of atomic bombs. Harry S. Truman, the 33rd President of the United States, faced one of the most critical decisions in history during the final days of World War II. With Japan refusing to surrender and the prospect of a costly invasion looming, Truman's choice to use atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki would irrevocably alter the course of warfare and international relations. In August 1945, as the Allies closed in on Japan, Truman was presented with the option of utilizing a new and devastating weapon, the atomic bomb. The Manhattan Project had successfully developed this weapon, which had the potential to cause unprecedented destruction. Truman, advised by military officials, believed that the bombings could hasten Japan's surrender, potentially saving countless American and Japanese lives that would be lost in a ground invasion. On August 6th, the city of Hiroshima was bombed, resulting in approximately 140,000 immediate deaths. 3 days later, Nagasaki was bombed, leading to another 70,000 casualties. Japan surrendered shortly thereafter, marking the end of World War II. Truman's decision, while effective in achieving a swift end to the war, sparked intense ethical debates that continue to this day. The bombings not only caused immense human suffering but also ushered in the nuclear age, profoundly influencing global military strategy and international relations. Truman's choice remains one of the most consequential and dangerous decisions made by a U.S. president. In examining the actions of these 6 American presidents, it becomes evident that leadership is fraught with peril and complexity. Each faced unique challenges that tested their judgment and decision-making capabilities, often under immense pressure. While their intentions may have varied, the consequences of their choices brought the nation to critical junctures, prompting widespread debate and reflection on the responsibilities of the presidency. These historical moments serve as poignant reminders of the delicate balance between power and accountability. They highlight the importance of foresight, the need for comprehensive strategies, and the necessity of considering the long-term impacts of decisions on the fabric of American society. As we reflect on these pivotal episodes, it is crucial to learn from the past, ensuring that future leaders navigate the intricate landscape of governance with caution and a commitment to the principles that uphold democracy. The lessons drawn from these near-catastrophic events not only inform our understanding of history, but also guide us in safeguarding the future of the nation. We are sure you enjoyed every bit of this video. Please leave a comment below and share your thoughts about this topic on this video. Thanks for watching.